Welcome to today's Explainer, where we're going to do something absolutely incredible. We are taking ancient cosmic secrets and viewing them straight through a modern tech lens. We're talking the deep mechanics of the soul, reincarnation, and literally the ultimate system reboot. So I want you to picture this in stunning cinematic 4K heritage style. You're looking out at the dusty, sun-baked landscape of the ancient Middle East. You've got Abraham's tent right there, the winding Akkad road where that ultimate test of faith went down, and this ancient servant carrying these glowing cosmic keys. Now, what if I told you that this specific scene isn't just history? It's actually a highly detailed blueprint for the resurrection of the dead and the digital architecture of the human soul itself. Let's dive in.
Okay, so the ancient Zohar text points us to this specific, seemingly super mundane verse. And Abraham said to his servant, the elder of his house, who ruled over all he had. Now, on the surface, right, it's just a story about a patriarch sending a guy to find a wife for his son. But the Kabbalists, they tell us to look way deeper. The Sod, the deep hidden secret here, reveals that this servant isn't just a man at all. He is the ultimate cosmic administrator. We are actually talking about Metatron, the angel who serves as the chief operating officer of the entire universe, standing right beneath the pure energy of Abraham.
Here's our user manual for today. We're covering the cosmic servant mystery, soul data and the cloud, the reincarnation protocol, Sephiroth engineering, the resurrection protocol, and finally, upgrading your dimensions. Let's get right into it.
Section 1. The Cosmic Servant Mystery.
So, let's start by unpacking this ancient mystery of Abraham's servant. The mystical texts describe this guy in such a fascinating way. When Abraham speaks to his servant, the Zohar explicitly says this represents the divine speaking to Metatron. Think of Metatron as the cosmic system administrator. Imagine him managing literally all celestial traffic, executing the code of the universe under the overarching energy of Abraham. And remember, Abraham represents Chesed, that's pure, unadulterated loving kindness and grace. So this servant, he doesn't just fetch water. He actively manages the resurrection protocol, restoring soul data from the cloud back into repaired body hardware.
To really grasp these incredibly dense mystical texts without just getting completely overwhelmed, let's map these ancient Kabbalistic terms directly onto familiar modern computing concepts. Your neshama, your soul, is the ultimate software. It's your data package. Your goof, your physical body, well, that's your hardware. Metatron is the system admin making sure the whole network stays up and running. And Gilgul, the transmigration of souls, is essentially a system respawn or reboot. When you look at it this way, the ancient texts read exactly like a highly advanced IT manual for the cosmos.
Moving on to Section 2, soul data and the cloud.
Before we can understand how we respawn, we gotta ask, how does the software actually get into the hardware in the first place? The sources outline that the soul downloads into the human body in 3 distinct software installation steps. First up is Nefesh. This is your basic operating system that boots up your physical vitality. Second is Ruach, your active memory upload or your emotional processor. And finally, there is the Neshama, the high-level cognitive software where the cloud connection is fully established. You literally can't run the Neshama cloud app until that baseline Nefesh OS is totally stable.
Now, these data packages operate across 4-dimensional worlds. In Kabbalah, these are Atzilut, Bria, Yetzirah, and Asiya. Think of them as 4 nested servers. The raw, pure source code originates up in Atzilut, the highest server, and trickles all the way down through the network until it's finally deployed into the physical realm. That's the hardware of Asiya, our physical world.
All right, Section 3, the Reincarnation Protocol.
But hey, what happens when the software gets corrupted or the hardware fails before the mission is complete? Well, the system initiates a respawn. For the younger learners out there, think of this exactly like respawning in a video game. You didn't beat the level, your health dropped to 0, so the system respawns your character with the experience you gained so you can finally finish the quest. But for the adults, we can view this as deep, complex cosmic engineering. The system is actively repairing deep, corrupted data files, extracting divine sparks that got trapped in malware, and re-uploading them to fix the hardware. Let's look at a really concrete example from our sources. The texts trace the specific respawn timeline of Eliezer's soul data. Eliezer actually started out trapped in a corrupted file. The text calls it the cursed shell of Canaan. But by connecting to Abraham's network of Chesed, his data got upgraded to blessed. Boom! When that hardware died, his soul data respawned as Caleb the spy, who fasted and pushed his hardware to the absolute limit to purge the remaining bugs. Later, that exact same upgraded software deployed as Benaiah, the mighty warrior of King David. It's literally one continuous software package getting patched and upgraded through history.
Which brings us to Section 4, Sephirot, the cosmic engineering. To understand how this bodily hardware is actually repaired and built during these cycles, we have to look at the universe's back-end code. Energy flows from the cloud down to the earth, and it requires 10 Sephirot to do it. But let's look at the primary flow here. It starts with Chesed, the boundless love and grace of Abraham. But listen, pure energy would literally fry the motherboard, so it has to be constricted by Gevurah, the strict judgment symbolized by the Akedah, the binding of Isaac. It then finds balance in Tiferet, funnels right through Yesod, the transmitter, and finally downloads into Malkut, the earth, our actual bodily hardware. And the engineering of this hardware is just breathtaking. The texts highlight exactly 248 physical limbs in the human body. And guys, this isn't random. It is perfectly engineered hardware designed to exactly match the 248 spiritual commands, the positive software parameters of the soul. Add to that 365 sinews, which align perfectly with the 365 restrictive commands. Think of those as the cosmic firewalls that prevent malware from entering your system. When you combine the 248 limbs and the 365 sinews, you see how precisely the physical hardware of the human body aligns with the cosmic system requirements to function properly in this dimension. It's a perfect match.
Section 5, the Resurrection Protocol. Finally, after all the historical respawns, all the bug fixes, and all the system testing, we reach the ultimate event. I want you to imagine the most cinematic, awe-inspiring moment possible. The texts describe the graves literally trembling. There is this massive cosmic shift from the harsh, restrictive red light of Gevurah and judgment. The admin flips the switch, and suddenly the universe is flooded with the blinding, brilliant white light of Chesed, pure grace and resurrection. It is the ultimate, system-wide overwrite of death itself.
The Zohar describes this ultimate reboot using the really profound imagery of a cosmic dew. It says a mystical dew of pure light will be shaken from the highest source, reinvigorating the dry bones. The texts call this the Hevel de Garme. Think of it as a tiny encrypted backup file left deep in the physical bones, just waiting for this specific dew to execute the flawless final merge of hardware and software.
For the final assembly, just as our sources describe, the four winds of the earth have to gather, north, south, east, and west. They act as the final compiling mechanism, literally breathing the fully realized, entirely debugged software back into the fully upgraded, indestructible hardware. The word Avdi, my servant, has successfully executed its cosmic function, restoring the entire system to perfect balance. And finally, Section 6, upgrading your dimensions. So now that we've decoded this ultimate cosmic user manual, from the system admin Metatron all the way to the final resurrection protocol, we have to ask how this actually applies to us, because you are running this software right now. Are you patching your code with kindness? Are you making sure your hardware is a worthy vessel for that cloud data? If your ultimate system reboot happened today, what version of your soul would be uploaded? Thank you for joining us for this complete journey through the Pardes. We hope these ancient truths help you and your family improve your own dimensions this week. If you enjoyed this full chapter deep dive, please like, subscribe, and share which part of the journey touched your soul in the comments. We'll see you in the next chapter.